Hey everyone, this is Anamika, and today I would be introducing you to vocabulary for your CLAT as well as other law entrance exams. So, even though CLAT has become a paper with a reading comprehension type of pattern in entirety, it is very important for you to learn and understand vocabulary because it will help you in understanding the passages which would be presented to you during the exams and try to understand any kind of or infer any kind of sentences or the meaning behind those sentences when you know the meanings of the words as well. Apart from that, it's not just only for the English part but also for the other portions of your examination as well. In addition to that, the pattern of other exams is still the same. So vocabulary usually comes between around 5 marks, and it's very fetching and can land you into a good university. So moving on, uh, the first thing, there are usually two types of uh, vocabulary that you can get. One is the plain English vocabulary and other is the Latin maxims. So in the plain English vocabulary, it would be simple that they would be providing you with a word and then you would be required to either answer a synonym or an antonym, etc. Another is the Latin maxim. So, words like actus reus, mea culpa, etc. These terms would be provided and you would be required to give an answer to those, the correct answer or the translation to the same. In addition to that, there are idioms, etc. as well, but these are the main portions or the types that I suggest that you should focus on. Then moving forward, I would be providing you in this particular video lecture the strategies and concepts. So as you can see, there are 10 concepts that I have provided and I would be touching upon each of them in brief, and I would be going about my slides as well, going back and forth. So I would expect you all to please bear with me. So the first one is read voraciously. It's undeniable that reading is the most effective way to get to know or learn new words or new vocabulary. When you see words being used in a context, and that's what makes it much more effective than, for example, merely memorizing the word list, is when you know you're able to actually improve your vocabulary. So, with context information surrounding each new word, there's a good chance you can guess its meaning by understanding the overall text. Finding out the meaning of words in such a way is the natural way of learning a particular language, and reading provides the best opportunity to get exposed to this natural way of learning. And the key to good learning is, don't think of it as studying, think of it as a pleasurable activity. And do not go into completely reading the hard texts altogether. Go and start with your own comfort level and then go outside of that. So, approach a particular text or a particular book as per your reading level, and only then would you be able to go forth from it. The second one is make friends with the dictionary. This is something which I feel is very primal and very important as well. So, a dictionary is the first indispensable resource to improve your vocabulary, and it's only by looking up words in a dictionary that you will learn its precise meaning, spelling, alternate definitions, and find much more useful information about it. A thesaurus is also a valuable resource for learning by finding connections between words, such as their synonyms and antonyms. So as you can see on the screen, that I have suggested 3 good dictionaries and thesauruses for your bookshelves. So they are Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, New Oxford American Dictionary, and the Oxford American Writers Thesaurus. You can look up and buy them, or find out about them and then use them for improving your vocabulary. In addition to that, there are a lot of online dictionaries which offer free options for great, and a lot of features. And one of the best one which I personally refer to still till today is the Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. It's an all-time favorite of mine, and it provides you with all synonyms, antonyms, verbs, adverbs, as well as idioms, etc., and how to use it in a sentence, a particular word as well for you. So it's been very helpful for me. The next is use it or lose it. So a practice makes a man perfect, right? Um, don't settle after you learn a new word by reading it or looking it up in the dictionary. These are the good starts, but it's by using those words that you truly commit to them and put them in your long-term memory. So there are certain things, 5 points, which I would like to tell you. One is write them down. Second, read them aloud. Third, create sentences with them mentally or in writing. I would prefer that you do that in writing. Third, try to use them in a conversation. And fourth, and finally, discuss them with friends. Then, there are a lot of words which usually are used in a common parlance. Like, every time you catch yourself saying common or non-specific words like nice, try to come up with a richer and more precise expression of that particular word instead, so that it gets more ingrained into your vocabulary. The next one, as you can see, is learn one new word a day. If you learn one new word every day, you'll soon notice that they add up pretty quickly. There, say if you start going, studying for CLAT from right now, and say it's September, and then, CLAT takes place in, say, May, you still have a lot of time. So around, say, let's say that you have 200 days, you would be able to ingrain or learn about 200 words if you have the discipline and the punctuality to get or learn or understand a new word every day. So, grow up your favorite quotes, receive a new quote or a new word every day. There are a lot of websites which provide free word of the day services as well. For example, Merriam-Webster's online word of the day. So it provides the most useful words of all for the particular day, and it's also the most, you know featured. It provides for audio explanations, pronunciation, and even the word histories as well. You can also do something that I do. So I have an option of screensaver in my laptop, which provides new words every time my screen goes to sleep. So in that sense, even though my screen is on, I can still see or find out new words, their meaning and their pronunciations as well. So you can try doing that for your laptop or your mobile phones or any other electronic device, so that when you look at them, you would be able to see or find new words for yourself. Coming on to the fifth point, understand the true meaning of the words. I would be skipping to the next slide. Yeah, understanding the true meaning of the words. By deeply understanding words, you can use your vocabulary, or you can make your vocabulary go exponentially. Instead of just memorizing them, try to really understand them by looking into their etymology, word roots, prefixes, and suffixes. At least half of the English words are derived from Greek and Latin roots, so there are enormous benefits in being familiar with them. So as you can see in the example that I've put forth in my slide, when you understand the prefix ortho, it means straight or right. You can start to find connections between seemingly unrelated words such as orthodontist, uh, or the orthography, right? And that's how you go forth. Another is, if you break down a particular word and then you try to understand the logic behind the particular word, it also helps you to learn them, and also makes it more interesting for you to understand how and why we use the word the way we do. For example, the word breakfast means interrupting the night's fast, or rainbow would be a bow or an arc which is caused by rain. So these are trivial meanings, but getting an insight about them is, it never fails to personally delight me. So I think that this is something that you can be creative with and go forth with the same. The sixth one is maintain a personal lexicon. So have a personalized list of words. You'll have a handy reference you can use to review these words later. It's very likely you'll want to go back and refresh your memory or recent words, so keeping them in your own list is much more efficient than going back to the dictionary every time. You can do that by having little flashcards with you, or even having a concept map made with one particular word, and through that, this would work a lot, especially if you're working with root words. So say, again, if you go back to ortho, it would be orthodontist, orthopedic, or words of that sort. Anthropology, astronomy, astrologer, etc. And you can make a concept map out of all these particular words and get a hang of it. Moving forward, follow a process to make vocabulary improvement a permanent habit in your everyday life. You should make it as habitual, automatic, and tightly integrated in your daily workflow as possible. Otherwise, you won't do it when your day gets too busy. So, make sure, put it into your timetable, make sure that every time you do at least learn one word a day, or if you have a particular target that today I need to do this much, you actually end up studying this much of that particular thing. Keep a reminder on your phone, set up an alarm clock of that sort which reminds you to actually do this or that, for you know to study or to work up in your vocabulary. So only that way would you be able to develop it and not forget it. Next, play and have fun. Playing games and engaging in group activities are useful in any kind of learning, but particularly effective for language related learning. Gather up your family and friends and start playing with words together. Play games like Scrabble. Have, maybe sit down when you sit down for food, say breakfast, lunch, dinner. Play your own variation of games. Say, you have a particular uh, at a specific day of each week, a different person brings up a new word to the particular meal, provides, you read out the word, you define it, and the other must come up with a sentence using the particular word. You can also play another, version of Mad Libs, where you can, where you are supposed to set up a story by using various verbs, adverbs, nouns, pronouns, and use them in a sentence and make up a story out of it. So that's very an interesting way and a fun way to actually learn new words as well. Next, uh, yeah, next I would go to, yeah, as you can see, this is the one. Yeah, the next is leverage every resource that you can. The internet is a gold mine of resources for vocabulary building, right? There are certain that I have already presented to you. There are a lot of vocabulary applications and vocabulary related books, which I would also talk to you about in my last slide after we go forth from here. There is a wealth of free literature on sites such as Project Gutenberg. They have a lot of abridged and unabridged digital copies of a lot of particular books as well, especially a lot of Shakespeare as well. So if you're into that, you can definitely go through them. There are a lot of plug-in dictionaries, etc., like answers.com and dictionary search that you can use in your browser, which helps you around. And then lastly, coming to the last one is diversify, right? You need to do something different from your daily routine, right? Do an activity which is not part of your daily life, and it can become a greater way to learn new words. Take up something, maybe if you take up art, there would be a lot of new vocabulary in relation to how artists would work, or that, every niche area has its own jargon and the unique way of communicating. So trying to know and understand those aspects of those areas would also do a great deal for you, plus it would give you a new hobby and something new to go forth with, right? By doing things out of the ordinary will you be able to improve your vocabulary and also make your life much more interesting. And finally, coming back to the references, again, the most important thing which any English teacher would ever tell you is read. Read and just read. Reading would make your vocabulary, your grammar, your speed in the reading, and your understanding of the English as a subject, it would change manifolds. Coming to root words, try to learn etymologically, try to go with root, suffix, and prefix to understand how a particular word works, right? There are books like Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. I personally have used it to study for my CLAT, and it was really helpful for me, and it is also very witty, so you never get tired of reading it. Then there's something which I found online while I was preparing as well. It's called the Magoosh app. So it would be like it's compatible for both all Android, iOS as well as Windows phones. So the app's icon looks like a purple background with a green tick in the middle, and it has a lot of flashcards as well as quiz kind of apps where you can just, if you're sitting idle or anything, you just play it as a game and try to learn new words. It's very interesting in that sense. At the end of the day, the only thing I will say to you is that you're only limited by your willingness to learn, and let curiosity be your guide, and you will never run out of resources and creativity to learn new words from. And vocabulary is a great way to be creative and learn in that regard. So this is all for today's lecture, and thank you so much for hearing.